We're recording.
Yeah.
Hi, Ginny. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. So this morning we are at our homes. Ginny's at her home, and I am at my home. Let's just be specific about that. I'm a horticulturist at the Philbrook Museum, and Ginny is one of our star educators. She's been doing a lot of the family art club videos, and I asked her the other day, why do you have so many houseplants? And we kind of started talking, and the ones that I've seen in her family art club videos, there's some beautiful, beautiful houseplants. So we thought we'd have a conversation today about houseplants, why we have houseplants, how to kind of care for them, our different styles. It's difficult to describe your houseplant style, but mine would probably have to be a grunge monster mixed in with someone that really, really cares, but just doesn't do a great job. So Jenny, start off, how would you describe your house plant style?
My houseplant style is probably definitely like a collector, but like a variegation, like and a babyer. If I'm gonna be completely honest, it's like babying, but also like I'm really interested. I find plants that I'm really interested in that like are visually appealing, and usually they're variegated or have some kind of textural element, but I'm always like trying to add to my collection, and then I just kind of like baby them.
Yeah. So how much time would you say you actually spend babying them?
Well, every morning I wake up and I kind of do a loop through my house, and I kind of check in on them. Like I'll like touch them and just like feel their soil. I will mist the ones that like to be misted at least like once a day. Like I already misted my ferns and some of my other like humidity loving plants this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then so that probably takes not that long, honestly, like less than 10 minutes every day. And then I do a big watering rotation about once a week, and that takes anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes.
What do you use to water your plants? Do you have like a very fancy little like gold-plated bucket or something?
Actually, no. I really I have an old Arnie's cup. It's orange, and I fill
So
it
like
up.
a 16-ounce cup.
It's like, yeah, I mean, I can go grab it, but it's not right next to me. It's definitely smaller than, it's like maybe a little bit smaller than this. This is like my art supply cup, but yeah, so I fill it up over and over in my kitchen sink, and I really enjoy just going to each one and kind of, watering it individually, checking in on it. Some of them will get more than one cup full, and some of them will just get like less than a cup full. But I don't know, I've thought about getting like an actual watering can, but kind of like the act of filling the cup to me is, and like giving them each individualized attention, I really like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, baby.
So it's kind of like because you're not using a large watering can, it's like a meditative practice then.
Yeah, because it takes longer. So, I mean, that's why I say it takes 30 to 45 minutes. So, I'm just like silently, like quietly going around, kind of, it's relaxing to me. And it's also just like the act of caring for my plants is kind of just really healing and positive for me.
Yeah. So why did you get into houseplants in the first place? Like if this is something that you're noticing now, did you notice like, oh, I want to care for something? Or how did you get into those houseplants?
Well, I have a dog, so it's not necessarily like the care aspect, but it's like so much as it's like this bringing like the outside into my home. I rent my house, and so I don't have a lot of outdoor spaces. And so when I moved in, I brought in like a couple plants, and then in the course of a year, I have like over 30 now. And so,
Good number of plants, yeah.
yeah, when I turned 30, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have 30 by 30. That was my goal. Um, but yeah, I think it's like, I think they're beautiful. I think they add like a lot of texture to my home, and like just like this living energy that I really like. Um, and yeah, I think I don't really know how to explain why, but I think it's just like I don't have a garden outside, and my family has always been really into gardening. And so it just kind of like took hold, and I can't stop.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would identify with that. Once you have house plant, you can't just have one house plant.
No, they need friends.
They need friends, and you need friends too. So,
Hey.
well, house plant friends,
Okay.
So, how would you like? What's your favorite plant that you have?
So my favorite plant, I'm gonna take you with me.
Yeah, show me the tour.
Okay. So I've got this fiddly fig, which I've got kind of propped up. I don't know if you can see it, with yarn.
Yeah.
And a hook, like a command hook on the window, and that helps keep them straight. And then I've got this, my other favorite one is this Benjamin fig, which is like a weeping fig. And I love both of them because for me, like my grandfather and my mom have always been super into plants. Like they have these gorgeous, gorgeous outdoor gardens. My grandfather does like he also has a huge vegetable garden, like, and he does the whole thing, like making jams and all kinds of like pickling and all that stuff. But
so even though you can't eat your house plants, you still like them?
yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they actually, the same year, like my grandfather got me the Benjamin fig, the weeping fig, and my mom got me this fiddly fig, and for Christmas one year. And
so I want to pause right there for a second, and I want to talk about those stories that plants tell. They are kind of, for me, they're like these nodes, which plants have nodes too. I guess that could be funny. They're like these points where you can look at this plant and you can recall this time of like you got that from your grandpa or your mom for Christmas, whatever, like it was a gift. And so every time you see that plant, either consciously or subconsciously, you're kind of thinking about those people that it's connected to. And I think that's one of the things that I love most about having houseplants is the stories that they can tell, but also giving those away to people. I think that's a really good way to connect with other people, especially if they do enjoy houseplants, but even people that are like, yeah, I've had houseplants, but I kill them all the time. And you're like, here, let me give you a houseplant that I haven't killed yet, so I know you won't kill it yet. So could you show me one of those houseplant that is one of those like robust, like strong houseplants that you're like, I feel good growing this?
Yeah, so I actually have several plants that I've given over the years to friends and family. Just the other day, I've got this huge spider plant, which I can show you, but I keep basically a jar of water, and I'm always propagating a spider plant baby. Like as soon as I give it away, I drop another one in, and I just hand it to whoever like wants one. I just always have one ready. So here is my spider plant. These are really easy to grow, and you can see that like they have all of these little babies coming off. And you can just like clip them off, put them in some water, and they'll root really easily.
So do you water propagate a lot of your plants?
I'm actually just getting started propagating my plants. So like I'm kind of a newbie. I definitely started with the spider plant just because it's so easy.
Hmm.
And then right now I'm also propagating some pothos. So I've got this guy from that plant.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
And I've cut off a lot of its like tendrils because I
Hmm.
want to make it bushier, but I also want to give them away. So this one, I've just gotten a cup of water and it's just starting to put out roots.
Yeah,
So
that's some nice little new root growth going on.
yeah, a little baby.
So I'm looking at some of your windows behind you. What would you say one of your biggest care problems is light or water or what?
Well,
What
it's
is something
definitely
that's
not
challenging
light.
for you?
It's definitely not light. I am blessed with this gorgeous light in my house.
Hmm.
So I know your house is a little different, but I have southern and western exposure. So this room that I'm in now gets western exposure every afternoon. It gets a lot of sun. And then my dining room, where I was a few minutes ago, it has this big window that all of my plants kind of live in front of, and that gets a lot of southern exposure. I also don't, I face a street, so I've got a house, like I don't have a house right up against it, so it gets
Right.
lots of sun.
Hmm.
Um, Probably my biggest challenge is honestly babying my plants too much.
Like
Like
spending too much
overwater.
time with them?
No. But like I check up on that. Like I'll want to water. Like I have this urge to like make sure that they're watered. And so like
Mm,
I don't know if you saw my spider plant. It has like little brown spots on it. And that is from me overwatering it when it went into like winter time.
right.
So they need less water in the winter because they're not actively growing.
Hmm.
And I just kept up my normal schedule. And I mean, it's not hurting the plant. It's just like not as pretty.
Yeah. And
It's fine.
I think let's talk about that real quick. So house plants are like boutique chic now, if
Yeah.
you will. And there's been a lot of traction in the past few years, and a lot of people have written books, and there's some great Instagram accounts that both of us follow.
Hmm.
Um, do you want to talk briefly about some of your favorite people to follow, and then we'll continue on
Yeah,
talking about some of your
I follow. I think a great beginner one is Hilton Carter.
uh
He has also written two books all about his love of houseplants, but he'll do Instagram TV videos, kind of talking about care, houseplant care. And he just has like this really great philosophy about plants and like treating them the way that you would want to be treated. Like, so grouping them together so that they're not alone. I mean, that boosts the humidity, but it also like
Right.
just makes them happier. And then I also follow just for like, I follow a ton of different ones, but I really like Jamie's Jungle too. He lives in
Mhm.
London and he just fills his flat full of plants.
Yeah.
And I'm like, goals.
So I follow. That's the thing. I think it is like you see all these beautiful curated accounts, and you're like, I want my plants to look like that. But in reality, we don't get to have some of that luxury sometimes because we're not spending all that money on them.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's more of a hobby, and they're making a career out of it. So I think it's an important distinction that you can still have beautiful house plants, but expect them to get some brown spots and
Yeah.
expect them to have to like pull some dead leaves off. And you might kill a plant or two, but that's okay, and that's just part of the journey. I follow. His name is Daryl Chang, and he's on Instagram, and he just wrote this book about plant care. But he talks about the philosophy of houseplants, and talking about that whole aspect of taking care of them and how that's kind of meditative, like you were talking about, but then also giving yourself a little bit of grace so that you are, when you do have something that dies or you have some brown leaves, like it's just part of the life cycle. And that's part of the beauty as well, is understanding that like it can be this beautiful beginning leaf, but in the end, like it'll probably die and it'll probably fall off, because that's just kind of how the circle of life goes on, you know?
I mean, this pilea that I have, it's constantly shedding leaves.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Like, it just, like, the leaves grow old, and you can tell the, like, fresh leaves from the new leaves. Like, this one is probably, like, an older leaf. It's got some, like, model, like, you can see it's, like, a little lighter color.
Yeah.
This one is, like, probably about to fall off. I don't know if you can see it here. This one?
Yeah.
It's probably reached the end of its life cycle, and it'll fall off. And
Yeah,
that's
it looks
what
like
they do. That's how they grow. And I have a lot of plants that have like brown crispy tips, just because I don't have a lot of, especially over the winter, like keeping the humidity up. They just dry out, and that's fine.
Yeah. So this is my philodendron, and definitely some crispy tips, but eventually I'll come through
and just snip them off.
Probably, yeah, and just like, and I'll probably go and trace that a little bit more. And it can look a little wonky. Like, it's not as beautiful as, like, you know, your healthier leaves, those really nice tips on it. But it can help a little bit. I think you just have to be careful on how much you take off on your leaf tips. So like this was actually, my grandma gave me that tip, and she gave me this plant, but it was, you know, don't be afraid to kind of go and snip some of that off if you want to. But at the same time, like, it doesn't distract too much from the plant, I don't think.
No. And I do the same thing. Like, every once in a while I'll go through and like snip off the crispy tips, but like this, like the spider plant gets them a lot. And you can see like this one is crispy and this one is snipped. And it's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. They're just fine.
It is fine. So I think are we coming up here on our time limit?
Yeah, I think so. I would love to, like, if you all want to share images of your favorite plants in the comments, that would be awesome. And then if you have any questions, I think that we'd be happy to answer them. And I don't know. I feel like this was really fun. So maybe it's the beginning of a couple different ones.
Yeah, maybe we'll sit down and have coffee next time. And
I'll actually have coffee.
Yeah.
I can like show you my new leaves, like a brand new, like I'll be like giddy Christmas morning. I'll be like, that's the best when I have like a new leaf coming out. I guess
when you know you haven't killed your plant and your plant's happy, that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, I might have a dead one. Who knows?
Who knows? Well, yeah, we've all been there, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Austin, for kind of letting me show off my beautiful collection. I had a lot of fun.
It's a good collection. Well, I guess I'll talk to you later then.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye, Jenny.